Truth is something that we sort of take for granted because we know if we see some objective situation and we try to describe it to the best of our abilities, that's truth. The next step is that we understand that we can misrepresent the situation or objective reality we've been given, and that is counter to truth. So this notion of truth and truth-seeking, honesty, the principle of honesty, it emerges out of a deterministic order that was there before humans existed. The potential for truth is a deterministic emergence. As long as there's animals looking at the environment, trying to navigate their way through the environment, and as long as they're applying knowledge to reality, there's going to be right outcomes and there's going to be wrong outcomes. At a minimum, there's Darwinian weeding. If you're wrong, then your life is gone. If you're right, then you flourish. And that all ties in with honesty. We can't fix problems if we're not honest about the problem and the root cause of the problem. If we always look the other way, or we misrepresent the problem, or we diminish the problem, or we rationalize, those problems persist because objective reality persists. If I say there's cake in the refrigerator, there either is or there isn't. It's either a true statement or a false statement. These are simple cases where obvious facts are contradicted in an obvious way. The correspondence theory of truth is the basic foundational concept of truth that we use all the time. If statements don't correspond with what is observed in reality, then the statements are false. There was a time when I thought we should question everything, and honestly, that's not wrong. That's not the deeper question or the deeper level. That's basically asking for existential uncertainty as a principle. It's completely unnecessary. The deeper lesson is that you question everything so you can learn for yourself what is unquestionable and why. Not for the reasons people tell you, but for yourself. You'll have a clear explanation for your principles. A lot of times when you ask people to explain why they think the way they think, they'll just shrug their shoulders. They have no idea. It's what other people around them are doing. They don't really lean into the idea that just because the people around you are doing something doesn't necessarily mean it's the right thing to do, it's the moral thing to do, it's the ethical thing to do. This is just the basics of truth-seeking. Being honest with yourself, being honest in representing reality, constructing a conceptual understanding for yourself. It doesn't go on forever. You don't need to know everything to understand priority principles, but you do have to do more than many people are willing to do. You do have to read and study for yourself, and you do have to question everything in the beginning. Understanding how and why truth emerges and the complex conditions that it emerges out of will help you prioritize an ethic for yourself, not dictated by others. The correspondence theory of truth is a concept in philosophy that states the truth or falsity of a belief or statement corresponds to the way things actually are in reality. In other words, a statement is true if it matches or corresponds to the actual facts about the world. Some key principles in the correspondence theory include: the world or reality exists objectively and independently of the mind or language used to describe it. Truth involves a relationship between statements and beliefs and facts about objective reality. A statement is true if it corresponds to or matches an independent external fact or state of affairs. A statement is false if it contradicts or fails to correspond to the actual facts. Language is just this set of symbols and sounds, but the task language has to perform is to capture all of our objective reality, our complex objective reality. There's no way a set of symbols and sounds can capture what all reality is. The more reality you try to capture, the more attributes, the longer your description is going to be. There's more to it. We can capture things with film, we can capture sound, and that's going to add to the representation of our objective reality. Paradoxes and misrepresentations are going to happen because of the mismatch of trying to use language to meet goals. No proposition or statement can capture reality the way it is. What is the implication for truth then? Be honest. Do the very best you can to accurately measure and represent objective reality, and to the best of your abilities, use the appropriate language to deliver the observations. Honesty is a deterministically emergent principle that will, absolutely, in all cases, emerge when any kind of language is applied to represent an objective reality. Once we begin attempting to represent reality, we become aware of the ability to misrepresent it. Ethics deterministically emerges. There's other theories of truth alongside correspondence theory. Pragmatic theory of truth. A statement is true if it is useful and works in practical applications. The scientific method often uses this approach where hypotheses are accepted as true if they successfully predict phenomena and can be applied to solve problems. But what is useful can change over time, making the truth seem flexible or relative. Deflationary theory of truth, or the minimalist theory. The idea that truth is redundant. To assert that X is true is just to assert X. Saying it is true that the snow is white is no different than saying snow is white. Constructivist theory of truth. Truth is constructed by social processes, historical contexts, and cultural norms. Moral truths are often seen as constructed by societies based on shared values and norms. It can lead to relativism where the truth varies across different societies and cultures. Pluralist theory of truth. There may be more than one way of understanding and defining truth. Scientific truths may rely on empirical evidence, while moral truths may rely on coherence with moral principles. This could lead to fragmentation and a lack of a unified concept of truth. Categorical types of truth and reality. In a general sense, correspondence theory is the idea that the truth exists in relation to reality. Types of relevant relations. Correspondence, conformity, congruence, agreement, accordance, copying, picturing, signification, representation, reference, satisfaction. Relevant area of reality. Facts, states of affairs, conditions, situations, events, objects, sequences of objects, sets, properties, tropes. Truth is a deep subject of exploration, but the important substance of it's basic. What is, and honestly, using language to describe the condition of objective reality is to create the conditions by which truth emerges. It's also the conditions where the opportunity to misrepresent reality emerges. All the things we do to progress and make our lives easier start with accurate observations, measurements, and precise presentations and representations of that objective reality. There's more to it than that. Seeking the truth and using tools like fairness and justice create conditions in which reason can overcome violence. But it all starts with an allegiance to truth. If you like this kind of philosophical subject matter, help us grow the channel by liking the video and subscribing to the channel.